big game players ahead of the 5th season will be Commander Lawrence and Aunt Lydia, who through their allyship want to fix things within Gilead and make things right again. And the power they hold right now should mean that they can. However, the power also comes with a lot of responsibility, which will force them to make bad but right decisions to achieve what they have set their minds to.
The thanks of a grateful nation.
Yes, sir. It's well deserved.
Well deserved.
One of the most popular, and for a reason, series of the 21st century is The Handmaid's Tale, and by the looks of it, the show is not likely to stop anytime soon. With 4 seasons under its belt, even before the 4th season aired, the show was already in talks to have a 5th season, which was later confirmed after a period of time in which all of the cast and crew hyped and now confirmed the 5th season, and it being a whole different beast when it comes to an even more brutal interpretation of the events to come. One of the biggest news we got about the upcoming 5th season is the trailer from Hulu that was released around 3 weeks ago, which showcased some things that we should expect when the season drops around a month from now on the 14th of September 2022. Most of the cast will return outside of the few characters who were killed in the last season, including one of the major players, Fred Waterford.
I want her to know that it was me.
The plot of the 5th season is somewhat bleak, with some hints being thrown toward the fact that Serena and June are bound to come face to face, and a war to break out between these two ladies, the ones that will be the main characters of the story to be told. Among other plot threads like June's resurgence and the struggles she'll face now that she'll try to rebuild her life from scratch, possibly in Canada. Then there's the widow Serena, who after losing her husband will likely be in danger one more time, as some new photos from the filming of the 5th season showed that her baby might be in danger as well. At the end of season 4, we saw June finally being able to exact her revenge on Waterfords by brokering a deal with Commander Lawrence for the release of 22 women of the Resistance in exchange for bringing Fred back to Gilead. Commander Lawrence, about who we will talk about in more detail in a little while, with the help of Nick, let Fred slip into the murderous hands of June and several fellow handmaids who took turns and beat him to death, with Fred's headless corpse hanging from the wall being the last time we saw the character, at the same place where misbehaving handmaids were hung in the previous seasons. A message sent, however, we don't think that we have seen the last of Fred, judging by how big of an impact he had on June and many other characters throughout the series so far, with his persona surely showing up in a flashback or two to haunt June and the others. According to the last information given to us, we can see that June will face the consequences of killing Commander Waterford, with Serena trying to build herself up in Toronto, at the same time as Gilead's influence starts to spread to Canada, with her status as a widow proving useful to Serena, from which she can make a lot of connections with many powerful people who will then presumably go after June in one way or another. Outside of these two, one of the handmaids who found herself trapped back in Gilead is Janine, who will yet again be played by Madeline Brewer, who said that the upcoming episodes are wild, whatever that means, and that she doesn't have the words to describe the events to come, with everyone involving experiencing something they haven't experienced so far, both within the walls of Gilead and outside of them. And last but not the least, we want to touch upon two of the characters that will probably have a lot to say in the events to come, and the ones we're here for today, Commander Lawrence and Aunt Lydia, who will once again be portrayed by Bradley Whitford and Ann Dowd respectively. The last time we saw Commander Lawrence and Aunt Lydia was in the midst of their efforts to make sure Gilead's reformation goes through, which we think will be the case in the future, and the two will work together to make sure things go according to their will, especially now since Gilead's hands will reach even further all the way to Toronto, Canada, a place where Gilead's presence was not sensed at all, or at least not until now, something the 5th season will likely put a lot of focus on, as it'll be likely one of the driving forces behind the hunt of June that will take place in the upcoming season, with the past coming to bite her.
She can't get to you, so you just gotta forget about her.
The driving force behind Aunt Lydia in the latest season was the responsibility she put on herself over June being able to orchestrate the escape of so many Gilead children at the end of the 3rd season, something that pressured Aunt Lydia throughout season 4, and the one thing that drives her for actions in the season, something she'll never forgive herself. However, it looks like Lydia found her way to reclaim her power thanks to Commander Lawrence and the alliance the two struck, which not only let Lydia reassume the rank by the end of the season, but also the thing that will make her push forward toward a reformed Gilead the way she and Lawrence wanted to be moving forward, especially now since the inevitable expansion that awaits. And Lydia at the end of the 4th season was seen again running the Red Center, where Janine and Esther reluctantly reassume the Red Cloak and fall in line in order to survive under Aunt Lydia's leadership. But this is not all that awaits for Aunt Lydia. According to Ann Dowd, her character will go under many changes, a lot of ways that her character will be shifting, which will give her even more power than before.
I think it's a stain, Aunt Lydia.
You're impertinent, girl! Lydia, stop!
There's no doubt that Lydia is villainous in nature. However, as time went by, we could see her emotions come to light, bit by bit, with Janine being the most responsible one for them, as she could pull them out of her the easiest, a trend which we will likely see continue, despite the power Lydia will hold in her hands together with Commander Lawrence. On the other hand, we also have Commander Lawrence, who, after judging by his actions in the season 4 finale, June seems to have his sympathy. He admires June and is somewhat impressed by what she was able to achieve over the last period. He didn't put up a fight when Nick and the Ice came to take Fred away, and most made peace that he was sending Fred to his certain death, a rather unusual thing to see from a man of his caliber. Plus, there was no love between the two because at the end of season 3, Fred forced Lawrence to enact the ceremony, in which Eleanor, Lawrence's wife, and her participation resulted in her suicide. As things stand right now, given the premise of the relationship he and Aunt Lydia have, and will have in the future, he seems to be on a very important mission to fix Gilead and make things right again. Though what that means precisely, we will have to wait and see for ourselves. One thing that feels unclear to us is the side Commander Lawrence is on when he said that he wants to fix the country and make things right. Did he mean Gilead or America as a whole? Whatever the case may be, both Aunt Lydia and Commander Lawrence will play a huge role in the events to come and will probably be the characters that will have to make some tough decisions regarding themselves and everyone around them.
Praise be. Your home's safe. Nation's
On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on Commander Lawrence, Aunt Lydia, and their allyship? Where do you see it going next, and do you think that the two could be the ones to make the most out of Gilead's expansion now that they hold most of the strings? Or do you think that there will be a lot of changes to the characters and their nature? Commander Lawrence actually being a good guy and on June's side, or Aunt Lydia letting her emotions overcome her? But also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.